Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Steven here once again. Before we can start with this video properly, I want to show you where I'm at. This is Cherokee Park in Louisville, Kentucky, which is in the beginning part of the eastern side of the city. It's very nice, and hopefully, if you're in the area, come by and see the park. There's a scenic loop and a trail inside the park that you also see a creek running by it as well. But enough about that. Before I talk about my NASCAR routine, there is one other thing I forgot to talk about, or rather, needs to be updated regarding the Big Lots video last time. A few days ago, going on business sales, all those locations that were announced on the last closing list have begun. Right now, it's up to 20% off. So if you live anywhere near those Big Lots stores that are closing on the new list, you better hurry up, because like I said, I think by the end of this year or early next year, those locations will be closing as well. So now with all that out of the way, let's talk NASCAR, shall we? I will say this regarding the Las Vegas Xfinity and Cup races. They were pretty good, all things considered. Didn't expect Tyler Reddick to flip in the Cup race though, but like it's okay, I was able to continue driving the car as well, despite that. But pretty much for Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney playing on the Cup side, they're in must-win territory for the next 2 weeks. Meanwhile, it's a little bit closer in the Xfinity Series side of things. But I don't exactly have the other points with me to follow up on that. So hopefully with this extra time I have tomorrow before work, I'll follow up on that side of things. But congratulations to Joey Logano and AJ Allmendinger for winning the Cup and Xfinity Series races respectively, and by locking their spots in the Championship 4. And yes, for Logano, that means the Championship 4 even year streak does continue. Though whether or not he'll get his third title remains to be seen. But right now, I think he's the favorite. Especially when considering that both tracks, considering that he is the only driver to have won a championship at both Homestead and Phoenix in this format. But we'll see. So what it sounds like, according to the latest round of the lawsuits between 2311 and NASCAR, is NASCAR saying, well, wait a minute, 2311 can still race as an open team. Sure, for less money, but we're not saying they can't race. We never said that at all. And more to a point, we think that they're a hypocrite for basically saying they want to get rid of the clause of they wanted to get rid of the clause suing NASCAR. Whether they want to keep that clause suing NASCAR, and yet they're suing NASCAR, among other things. And, well, I'm no legal expert either, but I think ultimately the judges go rule in NASCAR's favor. Because let's face it, they can't afford to buy the bare-paid lawyers, more or less, and the other teams can't. So, rather than not judges go give 2011 in Formula Motorsports an early win, we'll have to wait and see. Got a few weeks to find out though. And of course I'll share my thoughts once the judge does reach the ruling in that case. So it took over 50 years, but Bobby Allison finally gets credit for winning the race way back in 1971 at Bowman Gray Stadium. Long story short, he ran a car that was a Mustang, which was legal at the time, but had an advantage over the other competitors. And the drivers, especially Richard Petty, who drove the Grand National cars, didn't like it. And so NASCAR compromised. They let Allison get the money and the trophy, but the win stood vacant until yesterday. So now Bobby Allison, instead of having 84 wins, now has 85. As it should be, because, well, let's face it, at the time the car was legal, therefore he should be able to keep the win, regardless. But I do see Richard's point in this just the same, because the car is different, unfair advantage. But if the cars were legal, then so be it. Especially since Tiny Lund already kept all his wins, and he drove those pony cars too on a few occasions. But oh well. The other big story I want to talk about was involving Dale Jr.'s late model plans, as he's going to bring back the number 8 Budweiser late model for a few races later this year. I think the first race is going to race via Florence, either later this month or early next month, come to think of it. Now, whether or not this will possibly lead to him going to trucks or Xfinity, I doubt it, but it's still great that at least in some form, the number 8 Budweiser car lives again. But we'll see how far Dale Jr. can take this beyond these late model events. Meanwhile, Frankie Muniz will race full-time in the Truck Series next year, as he's going to drive for Ringling Brothers Racing, in the Racing's Ford entry. And based on what I heard from that team, they're not good. But hopefully Frankie can at least steer them in the right direction and have a decent effort driving that car next year. I doubt he's going to win races or up front, whatnot, but anything's possible. And also worth a note that William Gallowich will drive full-time for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series as well for next year for the Xfinity Series, which is the current driver lineup at the start of the year, for the most part, at least it seems, won't be back at incapacity. Hopefully for those drivers, well, they'll find another ride somewhere, either Xfinity, Trucks, or Cup, but they're probably not going to drive for any, big Toyota teams or anything like that. We'll see, though. Now, one other thing I do want to touch upon right quick, and that's the penalty side of things. Basically, for Eric Jones, as you know, the wheel came off during the Cup race, and essentially the crew member that's guilty of it will force to sit out the next 2 races because of that. Meanwhile, 3 Xfinity Series team members who are part of Daniel Dye, Jeff Burton, and Matt DiNabeto each was fined $5,000 for a loose lug nut. And bear in mind, these are the crew chiefs of those drivers that are fined. My mistake. But the Jones crew member will be forced to sit out the next 2 races. As of now, no appeal has been filed, and quite frankly, I don't think there will be either. So, sorry this video was a little short. At least shorter than I'd like to be, but I gotta conserve. Gotta make space on my phone somehow. But anyway, I'll be back shortly with the follow-up on the Xfinity Series points and add that to this video as well. So, along with my picks for the Homestead race weekend. So, be right back. So, briefly, I want to touch upon my thoughts coming for the Homestead Miami Speedway as well. First, regarding Xfinity Series points, the top 7 can still race their way in, but for Sammy Smith, he's practically in a must-win situation. As for the Truck Series, the top 8 can still race their way in, no must-win situation yet. But the trucks do start things off at noon Saturday on FS1. And I think Corey Heim will most likely be the race winner for the Truck Series race there. Being on the Xfinity Series side of things, I'm still going to give the Allgaier a slight edge there over Custer. And finally, for the Cup Series, well, Bell and Larson are practically locked in to the championship 4 regardless, even with the point situation. But Wynn would help balance them out. And Bell has now won back-to-back races in the Cup Series when it comes to racing at the same track. Xfinity, yes, at New Hampshire, but never in Cup. But I think Bell is still be one of the favorites regardless, along with Larson. In fact, at this point, I think the Championship 4 is virtually locked in, with the exception of Byron if he stumbles here, or at Martinsville. But find out 2 o'clock Sunday on NBC to find out for the Cup race, and 4 o'clock Saturday on the Xfinity Series side of things to find out who's going to win. And of course, real coverage for all 3 series for the remainder of the year will be on MRN. And, well, I just about wrap things up. So, before I go, I thought I'd leave this video same way that I was introduced, more or less. The view of the park. But I did want to combine a couple of things right quick into one video to make it a little easier on me. Now, I know my retail fans, if there are any, don't like if I talk motorsports and NASCAR, vice versa when it comes to retail, but I figured I'll try at least once to see how it goes out. Anyway, I'll be back soon with another video. So, bye for now, folks. One minor correction. 2:30 Sunday on NBC for the Cup race, not 2 o'clock. Sorry about that, folks.